The Deep Space Observatory was quiet, the hum of machinery and soft tapping of keyboards creating a serene symphony of sounds typical of a late-night shift. Dr. Alex Renard, the senior astrophysicist, was double-checking the latest data from their deep space monitoring systems when a junior analyst, Tim Saunders, approached him with an unusual reading. "Dr. Renard, you might want to see this," Tim said, his voice tinged with a mix of excitement and uncertainty. Alex glanced up from his screen, his interest piqued. "What have you got?" Well, I'm not sure." The deep field scanner picked up something big, moving at an incredible speed toward Earth, Tim replied, gesturing for Alex to follow him to his workstation. As Alex stood behind Tim, looking over his shoulder at the data on the screen, his expert eyes quickly confirmed Tim's concerns. The object was indeed large, and its trajectory was unusually directed, a stark deviation from the natural cosmic objects they usually monitored. "Have you checked for false positives?" Alex asked, maintaining a calm demeanor despite the growing unease. "Yes, I ran it twice. The readings are consistent. It's no comet or meteor," Tim confirmed, his hands slightly trembling as he pointed at the trajectory simulations. "Okay, let's not jump to conclusions," Alex said thoughtfully. "Let's alert the director and get a second opinion on this. We need to be absolutely sure before we escalate it." Minutes later, they were in the office of Dr. Jonathan Keats, the observatory director. After a brief explanation and a review of the data, Jonathan's expression turned grave. "This could be it, the first contact we've always theorized about," Jonathan said, picking up the phone to initiate a cascade of communications that would reach the highest echelons of government and military. "Should we contact SETI and the space agencies?" Alex suggested. "Yes, do that. Tim, keep monitoring the object and record everything. Alex, start drafting a preliminary analysis. I want us to have something solid to present," Jonathan instructed, his voice steady, but his eyes betraying his concern. As the night progressed, the observatory became a hive of activity. Calls were made, reports drafted, and data continuously analyzed. The object was now clearly visible on their high-resolution screens, a metallic structure, unmistakably artificial, hurtling towards Earth. "This changes everything," Alex murmured to himself as he compiled the data. "Hey, look at this," Tim called out, breaking Alex's concentration. He had enhanced the image, revealing more details of the structure. It was unlike anything they had seen, sleek and silver, with smooth contours and symmetrical appendages. "It's beautiful," Tim whispered, awe in his voice. "And terrifying," Alex added quietly. "We don't know what intentions they bring." The phone rang again. Jonathan answered, listened for a moment, and then placed the receiver down slowly. He turned to face his team, his face solemn. "That was the Pentagon," he said quietly. "They're moving us to a secure location. We're to assist their teams now. This is not just a scientific discovery. It could be a matter of national security." The team gathered their essentials quickly, the weight of the situation settling in. As they were escorted by military personnel to an undisclosed location, the reality of their discovery began to dawn on them. They were at the forefront of perhaps the most significant event in human history. "Whatever happens next, we're in this together," Jonathan said, looking at each member of his team. "Let's do our best to understand and respond wisely." As they drove away under the cover of darkness, the skies above seemed to watch in silent anticipation. The stars witnessed Earth's pivotal night. Dawn crept over the horizon, casting a soft glow on the world's capitals as people awoke to the news that had already circled the globe. An alien spacecraft was headed towards Earth, and its arrival was imminent. Crowds gathered in the streets, their eyes glued to the skies and screens, hungry for information, dreading and anticipating in equal measure. In the secure government facility, Dr. Alex Renard, Tim Saunders, and Dr. Jonathan Keats sat with a team of military strategists and top government officials. Tension filled the room as they analyzed the last set of data received before the spacecraft would enter Earth's atmosphere. General Vincent Carter, the man tasked with coordinating the defense strategy, was a figure of authority and calm amid the storm of anxious preparations. "Dr. Renard, what's the status?" he asked, looking over the satellite images on the large screen at the front of the room. "It's slowing down, General," Alex replied, adjusting the image to show the spacecraft's deceleration. "It seems to be preparing for entry rather than a flyby. It's controlled and deliberate." Tim added, "The structure itself is unlike any technology we have. Its design suggests advanced knowledge in aerodynamics, materials, science. perhaps even quantum physics beyond our understanding. As they spoke, the alien ship entered the Earth's atmosphere, its presence now undeniable. A live feed from a high-altitude drone displayed the craft's majestic descent, a silvery oval that reflected the morning sun. It was both awe-inspiring and ominous. The world watched as the ship descended towards one of the largest cities, slowing to a hover just above the tallest skyscrapers. Emergency services were on high alert, and the military presence was overtly visible. The general public was urged to stay indoors, but that did little to curb the mounting curiosity and fear among the masses. "General Carter, we need to establish a perimeter and keep the public at a safe distance," one of the advisors suggested, marking areas on the map laid out on the table. "Already in motion," Carter confirmed, his eyes not leaving the screen. "We're also prepared to communicate, should they attempt to make contact." The room fell silent as the spacecraft stopped completely, hovering in silence. Then, without warning, a section of the hull began to shift, opening to reveal a platform. A figure emerged, standing against the backdrop of the alien technology. He looks almost human," Jonathan whispered, surprise evident in his voice. The alien, adorned in regal attire that shimmered with an unknown energy, stepped forward. His features were distinctly humanoid, but with an otherworldly elegance that no human possessed. As he raised his hands, a signal of peace or a prelude to something else, a translator device around his neck activated. "People of Earth, I am King Theros of the Zaltrax dynasty. I come to you not as a conqueror, but as a ruler asserting rightful dominion. Your leaders will surrender to me, and in return, you will gain protection and membership in the Galactic Dominion. You have 1 day to comply." The message was broadcast worldwide, translated instantly into hundreds of languages. Panic ensued as the implications of his words sank in. Back in the facility, General Carter broke the stunned silence. "Prepare for all scenarios," he commanded. "Dr. Renard, Tim, stay on analysis. We need to know everything possible about their technology and intentions." As the meeting dispersed into action, Alex turned to Tim. "Rightful dominion? Protection? Sounds more like a threat veiled in diplomacy." Tim nodded, his mind racing with the implications. "We need a plan, and fast." The two returned to their workstation, determined to unravel more about the aliens' technology, desperate to find a weakness or a strategy that could help defend their world. But as the reality of the situation set in, so did the fear of the unknown. What if human weapons weren't enough against such advanced technology? The thought lingered, unspoken but heavy in the air. In the high-security command center, the atmosphere was charged with urgency as military leaders, scientists, and strategists gathered around the massive digital displays that now tracked every movement of King Theros' ship. The alien king had given Earth just 24 hours to surrender, and the clock was ticking ominously. General Vincent Carter, the embodiment of military composure, was coordinating Earth's response. He turned to Dr. Alex Renard and Tim Saunders, who had been working non-stop, sifting through every piece of data they could gather about the alien technology. "Dr. Renard, what do we know?" General Carter asked, his voice firm but concerned. Alex looked up from his laptop, fatigue lining his face. "General, their technology is leaps ahead of ours. But we've noticed something. There seems to be a recurring energy signature that's similar across different systems on their ship. It could be a vulnerability, or it could be nothing. We need more time." Time, however, was a luxury they didn't have. On the giant screen, live footage showed King Theros standing stoically on his platform, which now glowed with a menacing light. Without any prior warning, the screen switched to a live broadcast from King Theros. His voice, calm yet authoritative, filled the room. "To demonstrate our capabilities and ensure compliance, observe." The camera angle changed to show a remote island in the Pacific, identified at the bottom of the screen as a deserted naval testing ground. The king raised his arm, and the sky above the island darkened ominously. A beam of light shot down from the spacecraft, striking the island. The effect was instantaneous and devastating. The island vaporized in a massive explosion of light and energy, leaving behind nothing but disturbed water where land had been seconds before. The room fell silent, the gravity of the display settling in. General Carter was the first to speak. "This was a demonstration of their precision and power. We must assume they can do this to any city on Earth." Urgent discussions erupted around the room. Military options, diplomatic channels, and emergency evacuations were all laid out, but each plan fell short against the raw power the aliens had just demonstrated. We may need to consider the possibility of surrender, one of the advisors suggested reluctantly, only to be met with stiff opposition from the rest of the team. Alex, meanwhile, was deep in thought. Turning to Tim, he whispered, "Did you see that? The energy buildup before the strike. It's consistent with the signature we noticed earlier." "Yes, I saw it. Alex, if we can somehow disrupt that signature." Tim trailed off, the idea forming in his mind. The two hurriedly gathered their data and approached General Carter. "General, we might have something. There's a pattern to their energy use. If we can engineer something to interfere with it, we might have a chance to neutralize their weapon, at least temporarily." General Carter considered this. "Do it. I'll buy you the time you need. Meanwhile, we'll prepare for the worst." As Alex and Tim set to work, the world's leaders convened in emergency sessions, grappling with the decision to fight or surrender. The stakes had never been higher, and as each minute passed, the weight of their impending decision grew heavier. Back in the command center, every available resource was redirected to assist Alex and Tim in their desperate attempt to create a countermeasure. Hope was slim, but it was all humanity had left. As the night deepened, the lights in the makeshift lab at the command center burned bright. Alex Renard and Tim Saunders were surrounded by a hastily assembled team of the best engineers and physicists the world could muster, all racing against the clock to devise a countermeasure to the aliens' devastating weapon. In a nearby conference room, General Carter convened a secret meeting with a select group of special operations commanders and a recently retired operative known for his unorthodox methods and successful missions behind enemy lines, Jack Mitchell. "Gentlemen, our situation is dire," General Carter began, his voice echoing slightly in the sparse room. "Our best hope now rests on two fronts. First, our scientists are working on a method to disrupt the alien weapon system. Second, we need to gather more intelligence about these aliens. We need someone on the inside." All eyes turned to Jack, who had been listening intently, his face impassive but his mind racing. "You're talking about infiltration," Jack stated, more a fact than a question. "Yes," General Carter confirmed. "We need you to get aboard that ship. Find out anything you can that might help us. Weaknesses, plans, anything." Jack nodded slowly, understanding the gravity of the task. "What's the insertion plan?" "We've been able to track small transport crafts moving between the ship and the ground, likely for reconnaissance. You'll stow away on one of these crafts during its next return trip," the general explained. Back in the lab, Alex and Tim continued their frantic work, deciphering the alien technology. "We've isolated the frequency we believe they use to stabilize the energy pulse for their weapon. If we can disrupt it, even for a few seconds, it might give us an opening," Alex said, his eyes weary but determined. Meanwhile, preparations for Jack's mission were underway. He was briefed on everything known about the aliens, their technology, and potential security measures aboard the ship. The team outfitted him with the latest in stealth tech and weaponry, modified to counter the advanced alien sensors they'd encountered. Night turned into early morning as Jack made his way to the designated drop zone, a secluded area where the alien crafts had been observed. Hidden beneath camouflage netting, Jack waited patiently for the alien scout vessel to land. As the vessel touched down, the pilot, a humanoid figure with sleek armor, stepped out, scanning the area. Jack used this moment to silently slip aboard the craft, concealing himself among the shadows within. The vessel took off, the G-forces pressing Jack into his cramped hiding spot. As the craft docked with the main ship, Jack's training took over. He moved with precision, avoiding detection, navigating the alien corridors armed with a cloaking device and a pulse disruptor. Inside the ship, the architecture was a blend of high-tech and organic elements, unlike anything Jack had encountered. He recorded everything, sending silent transmissions back to Earth when possible. After evading a patrol, Jack stumbled upon a high-security area. Using a stolen access device, he slipped inside, only to find himself face-to-face with the most unexpected sight: the alien queen, seemingly held captive. Her regal bearing was unmistakable, even in distress. "Who are you?" she asked in perfect English, her voice echoing slightly in the stark room. "I'm here to find out what they're planning," Jack whispered, keeping his weapon ready. The queen's eyes narrowed, a mix of suspicion and hope flickering across her features. "I can help you," she said slowly, "but only if you help me first." Jack Mitchell was momentarily taken aback by the alien queen's offer. He quickly recalibrated, realizing the potential for an unexpected ally in the heart of the enemy ship. Why would you help me? Jack asked cautiously, his hand still on his weapon. The Queen, her demeanor composed yet tinged with urgency, replied, King Theros has overthrown me to assert his dominion over your planet. He fears humans' unpredictability and potential. I wish to regain my rightful place, and stopping him could ensure peace between our people. Jack weighed her words, his years of experience telling him she was his best shot at getting valuable intelligence. What do you need from me? He asked. Free me from this confinement, and I will lead you to the ship's main control room. That's where you'll find everything you need to understand our technology, and perhaps find a way to counter the weapon. Deciding to trust her, for now, Jack used his disruptor to disable the locking mechanism on her cell. The Queen stepped out gracefully, her presence imposing even in her weakened state. Follow me and stay close, she whispered, leading Jack through a series of convoluted corridors lined with pulsating lights and strange, humming machinery. As they moved stealthily, the Queen explained the layout of the ship and the locations of the most critical areas. The control room is heavily guarded. We'll need to be careful, she cautioned. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Alex and Tim had made significant progress with their own project. They managed to isolate the specific frequency used by the alien weapon and were in the process of creating a disruption device. We need to test it, but it has to be under real conditions. We need more data from the ship, Tim said, adjusting the prototype. In orbit, Jack and the Queen reached the entrance to the control room. Using a small surveillance drone Jack had brought along, they scouted the inside. 2 guards stationed at the main console and several more patrolling the perimeter. We need a distraction, Jack murmured. He and the Queen concocted a quick plan using the ship's internal communication system to simulate a security breach on the opposite side of the ship. As the guards hurried off to respond to the false alarm, Jack and the Queen entered the control room. Jack quickly downloaded as much data as he could onto a portable drive while the Queen accessed the communication logs and weaponry schematics. Suddenly, an alert blared through the ship. They had been discovered. Time to leave, Jack shouted, grabbing the Queen's arm as they dashed out of the room. They made a beeline for the nearest exit point Jack had memorized earlier. As they ran, Jack relayed the critical information back to Earth, where Alex and Tim eagerly integrated it into their disruption prototype. The duo reached the docking bay, where a small craft was prepped for departure. As they boarded the ship, the Queen took the controls, showing a deft hand at maneuvering her own technology. Jack manned the defense systems, repelling incoming security forces as they made their escape. As they broke away from the alien ship, the Queen looked at Jack, a faint smile crossing her features. Now, let's save your world, she said, setting coordinates for Earth. Jack nodded in agreement, ready to bring the fight back home with the crucial intelligence and a powerful new ally by his side. Jack and the alien Queen's escape vessel pierced through the Earth's atmosphere, a fiery streak visible against the early morning sky. Below, the command center was a flurry of activity as General Carter and his team prepared to receive them. We have visual confirmation, announced a radar technician, eyes glued to the screen. Clear them for immediate landing. Have medical and debrief teams on standby, ordered General Carter, his voice resonant with anticipation and concern. As the vessel touched down on a secluded airstrip, Jack and the Queen disembarked. Medical personnel rushed to assess the Queen, while Jack was quickly enveloped by a security detail that escorted him to a secure briefing room. General Carter met Jack as soon as he entered the room. Mitchell, good to see you in one piece, he said, offering a firm handshake that was both a greeting and an acknowledgement of the risks Jack had taken. Jack nodded. We need to move fast, General. I've brought back critical data. He handed over the portable drive loaded with alien technology insights and weapon schematics. While technicians worked to integrate the new data, Alex and Tim pored over the information with fervor. The insights provided by Jack were the missing pieces they desperately needed. Within hours, they had refined their disruption device, testing it successfully on simulated models of the alien weaponry. Meanwhile, the Queen was escorted into the same secure briefing room after her medical checkup confirmed she was unharmed. She stood regally, her presence commanding attention as she addressed the room. King Theros will not delay his assault, knowing I've escaped. His pride and his agenda against humanity will drive him to a swift response, she explained. Her voice was calm, but the urgency was palpable. General Carter responded, Your knowledge of their systems and strategies is invaluable to us. With the disruption device nearing readiness, it's time we planned our defense. The strategy session that followed was intense. Jack, the Queen, Alex, Tim, and General Carter discussed various approaches to use the new technology. They decided to mount a coordinated attack that would disable the alien ship's weapon systems long enough to launch a counteroffensive. Timing will be critical, Alex pointed out. We have to hit them just as they power up their weapons. It's the only window we'll have for the disruptor to work effectively. Preparations for the counterstrike were set in motion, with forces mobilized at key points around the globe. The world's air and space defense networks were put on the highest alert. The public, still largely in the dark about the specifics of the impending battle, was urged to seek safety. The alien fleet, led by King Theros himself, began its approach, their ominous formations visible in the sky as dusk fell. The world held its breath as the first signs of engagement appeared on the horizon. In the command center, General Carter gave the order, and Alex activated the disruption device. A tense silence fell over the room as they waited for the results. The screen showed the alien weapons powering up, a glow building around their ships. Then, suddenly the glow flickered and died. The disruption device was working. "Attack now," Carter commanded. Fighter jets, equipped with the latest in Earth's defense technology, took off, targeting the now vulnerable alien ships. In the sky, brilliant bursts of light marked the fierce confrontation. Humanity was fighting back with everything they had. Back in the command center, Jack stood next to the Queen, watching the battle unfold. "It's not over yet," he said quietly. "No, but today, humanity has shown its strength," she replied, her eyes reflecting the fires of battle above. "And they have you to thank, Jack Mitchell." Jack watched the skies, knowing this battle was just the beginning of a longer war. But with the alien Queen as their ally and the new weapons at their disposal, hope was no longer a distant dream. It was real, burning brightly in the night sky. In the aftermath of their surprising victory, the atmosphere within the command center was one of cautious optimism, mixed with a deep sense of urgency. General Carter convened a strategy meeting with key military leaders, scientists, and the alien Queen, who had proved an invaluable ally. "King Theros will be regrouping for a second strike. We must utilize this time effectively," General Carter stated, looking around the table at the assembled team. Jack and the Queen discussed their next steps with Alex and Tim, who were busy analyzing the data extracted from the alien technology. "If we can enhance the disruptor to create a wider field of effect, we might disable more than just the weaponry next time," Tim suggested, sketching out a rough diagram. The Queen nodded, adding, "The King's ship has a core reactor that, if disrupted, could cripple the entire fleet. It's heavily shielded, but with precise placement, your device could penetrate it." Plans for a daring mission began to take shape. The goal was clear: infiltrate the alien flagship and plant the enhanced disruptor directly at the reactor core. Jack, with his proven prowess in combat and stealth, was the natural choice to lead the operation. Meanwhile, defense systems around the world were put on high alert. The public, still reeling from the reality of an alien attack, rallied in support of Earth's defenders, their spirits lifted by the recent victory. Night fell as preparations continued. Jack's team, comprising elite soldiers from various special forces, equipped themselves with the latest in military and alien-derived technology. Their window was narrow. The alien fleet would soon be operational again. "We strike at the heart," Jack told his team as they geared up. "We take out the reactor, and we take out the fleet." The team embarked on their mission under the cover of darkness, using a stealth shuttle they had captured. As they approached the alien flagship, cloaked to avoid detection, tension ran high. Inside the flagship, security was tight. Alien guards patrolled key junctions, and surveillance systems covered every corner. Using a combination of hacked alien codes and sheer force, Jack's team managed to bypass security checkpoints and navigate through the labyrinthine interior of the ship. Finally, they reached the reactor chamber. It was a massive room, pulsating with the energy that powered the formidable alien fleet. Carefully, Jack planted the enhanced disruptor device at the base of the reactor. "Disruptor in place," he whispered into his comms. "Setting the timer for 5 minutes. We move out now." The team retraced their steps, engaging in a few brief skirmishes with alien guards who had detected their presence. Using non-lethal tactics to maintain stealth, they managed to escape detection from the broader ship. As they made their way back to their shuttle, the disruptor's timer ticked down. The tension was palpable. Success hung in the balance. Mere moments after they launched away from the flagship, the disruptor activated. A brilliant flash of light followed by a crippling shockwave emanated from the alien flagship. The entire fleet was thrown into chaos as ships lost power and drifted helplessly. Back on Earth, the command center erupted in cheers as reports came in confirming the mission's success. General Carter, watching the live feeds from space, felt a rare smile cross his face. Incredible work, team. Prepare for a full assault while they're down. The Earth's forces, motivated by the success of Jack's mission, launched a coordinated attack. Fighter jets, armed with newly adapted alien technology, struck hard at the vulnerable alien ships. In the heat of battle, Jack's shuttle made a narrow escape back to Earth, the glow of burning alien crafts lighting up the night sky behind them. The Queen, monitoring the situation from the command center, felt a mix of satisfaction and sorrow. "This victory is crucial, but it's not the end," she remarked to General Carter. "Agreed," he replied. "But it's a damn good beginning." The skies above Earth had never been so crowded, nor had the stakes ever been higher. As debris from the disabled alien flagship fell towards the atmosphere, burning upon re-entry, General Carter and his team, alongside the alien Queen, prepared for the final confrontation. "Their fleet is in disarray, but they won't be down for long. Let's finish this," General Carter declared, rallying his forces. The world's military, now armed with knowledge and technology gleaned from the aliens, stood ready to defend their home with unprecedented unity. Jack, having just returned from the successful mission aboard the alien flagship, was weary but resolute. He joined the pilot's briefing for the final assault. "We've got one shot at this to make sure they don't come back," he stated grimly, checking his equipment one last time. In the command center, screens lit up with real-time satellite imagery showing the remaining alien vessels attempting to regroup. The Earth's forces didn't give them a chance. Fighter jets, equipped with hybrid technologies, launched in waves, their pilots determined to protect their planet. As the aerial battle ensued, the alien response was sluggish. The loss of their flagship had dealt a more significant blow than they had anticipated. Their command structure fractured, and their once imposing fleet now struggled to mount a defense. On the ground, the alien Queen assisted Earth's military strategists, providing critical insights into the remaining alien ships' vulnerabilities. "Target their auxiliary power units. Without them, their shields won't hold," she advised, her voice steady and commanding. The battle raged in the skies, with Earth's forces slowly gaining the upper hand. Explosions dotted the horizon as alien ships were hit and destroyed. Humanity's fighters maneuvered with precision, their tactics refined by the desperate necessity of survival. Meanwhile, Jack piloted one of the advanced jets, leading a crucial strike team. They focused on a cluster of alien cruisers that were attempting a counterattack. With precise movements and coordinated strikes, Jack and his team managed to penetrate their defenses, delivering a devastating blow. Back at the command center, cheers and applause broke out as reports confirmed the successful neutralization of the alien threat. General Carter, watching the monitors displaying the retreat of the few remaining alien ships, allowed himself a moment of relief. "Well done, everyone. Well done." After the battle, as the world began to process the victory and mourn the losses, a grand assembly was broadcast globally. The alien Queen stood alongside Earth's leaders, her expression one of solemn pride. "Today, we have not only defended Earth, but have also set a precedent for galactic relations. Let this be a lesson in the strength of unity and the power of determination." She addressed the gathered crowd and cameras. Jack, among the audience, felt a profound sense of accomplishment mixed with the sorrow of the cost it had taken to get there. The world had changed forever, and so had he. The aftermath of the battle saw the forging of new alliances. The alien Queen proposed a peace treaty and the establishment of a joint galactic council to prevent future conflicts. Earth, once an isolated player in the cosmic field, now emerged as a key figure in interstellar diplomacy. As peace settled across the globe, humanity began to rebuild and explore new possibilities with the technologies and knowledge acquired through the conflict. Jack, hailed as a hero, chose to continue working alongside the new interstellar alliance, dedicated to maintaining the peace and prosperity now possible. The final stand had been more than a battle. It had been a catalyst for a new era, an era where Earth would stand as an equal among the stars.